Mr. Turkington, what's up?
Howdy ho. This is Fear of the Fork. That's for the ASU Sun Devils. Don't know why, but I wanted to share that with you.
Sparky, he's coming back.
Sparky. There we go.
All right, everybody listening in, if you see this on YouTube a little bit later, please like, subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get as many subscribers as we can. I think we need to get to 1,000 to go live on YouTube. So that's one of our goals.
Help us out, please.
Absolutely. All right. So Fed raising interest rates thus far, I think they've raised maybe 1 3/4 so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
But what we haven't talked about is how this affects not mortgages, but banks, lending, lines of credit, credit cards, that kind of fun stuff. Wanted to give everybody a little more detail on that because what you and I typically find is people don't pay much attention to that stuff, do they?
No, they don't. Kind of get the payment in or get that in part of the payment schedule each month, and it just sort of becomes white noise.
Have you looked at one of your credit card statements lately, what the interest rate would be? I know you pay yours off every month, but have you looked?
I have not looked.
I haven't looked either.
Yeah.
We're going to go into a little bit of that here in a second. I know that people that are carrying balances aren't looking either, and that's a little bit of a problem, or it's going to be a little bit of a problem here very soon.
Yeah, so we have talked to a ton of people since the beginning of the year to utilize some of the equity in their home for home improvements or debt consolidation. And since the beginning of the year, doing a primary or a first mortgage transaction hasn't made any sense because of the low interest rates on those. So most of the folks that we've talked to have gone the route of obtaining a home equity line of credit. And back to your point earlier, it's a fantastic vehicle, but you just have to make sure we're paying attention to the interest rates, because at some point it may make sense to put those together. So that's one side of it. The other is the credit card balances. You know, if you own a home and those rates are ridiculous, we need to entertain an equity loan or a refinance. And if you're not a homeowner,
You mean if you don't win the lotto?
Yeah. If you're not a homeowner, tighten up that budget and try to get that thing knocked down so you're not just spraying a bunch of interest dollars all over the US.
All right, let's take a quick look at prime rate, which drives most of this stuff. I'm going to share the screen real quick. Are you able to see my screen here? I'm assuming so. Clear. All right, so current prime rate 4 3/4. Again, that's up 1 3/4 this year. Fed meets here in a couple weeks. They're saying another 3/4 hit, and then another half, quarter by the end of the year. So pretty substantial jump. This HELOC stuff here, though, most folks are carrying a prime +1 or a prime +2. So we are talking about very, very high interest rates, relatively speaking, compared to the last 24 months that we've been going through here. So thoughts on that?
You have to pay attention to it. And again, try to make sure that you're knocking down the balances. But those equity loans, you know, the prime rate at the end of last year was 3 1/4. So, you know, we're now in the territory where the equity loan rates are going to increase as much as first mortgage rates have. So 7.5% is still better than paying 17 or 20 on a credit card. But I think our point here is just awareness, which is that's not at 4% anymore. It's going to get to 7. Make sure that you take that into account and try to get those balances knocked down, or reach out to a mortgage person and say, what if I put my first mortgage and my second mortgage together, what's my blended cost? Just so you're not paying more interest dollars than you need to.
Perfectly said. Let's move over to the credit card fun stuff here. All right. National average, here we go. So 17.3% nationally, up a little bit from last week, up a little bit over the 6 months ago. That's insanity. In my mind, in your mind, I know we both think that. So if you're talking about, you have a home equity line of credit at 7, 8, 9%, and you have credit card debt at 17, down here at the bottom, bad credit, 26.5%. We see a lot of those statements come through our world. But you got to pay attention. The trend isn't our friend here. The trend is those interest rates are going to continue to go up a little bit over the course of the rest of the year. And if you're really paying attention to it, we have to start making some moves, adjustments. You can't pay, if you have a home equity line of credit and a credit card is somewhere around, 14, 15, 16%, your blended cost average will do that with all of the credit cards. We dump them all in and we can say what your blended cost is. Most folks, it comes out to be usually somewhere around 18 to 20%.
The thing is, you're talking about that I've heard a ton is people's resistance to consider doing a cash out refi to absorb the consumer debt. And they say, well, it's only 12,000 bucks, or I only have 13,000 on a credit card. I don't want to touch my mortgage, but $12,000 or $10,000, if in that 25% range, that's $208 a month that you're paying in interest on 10,000. You need to look at the options, unless you're in a position to make that entire balance go away in a short period of time. But a lot of folks, we talk, I'll get to it. In 2 months turns into 2 years, and there's 5,000 bucks spent in interest at the drop of a hat. So again, it's just awareness, be open-minded to it. But back to your point, look at the interest rate on your next statement, because that'll just help you make informed decisions.
Yeah, I think this video is good for both people who own a home and people who don't. So the people who don't are the people who are saddled with the credit card debt, right? Those are the ones that we're trying to get them to learn how to bring the balances down so we're paying them off every month. If you were to talk to 10 folks right now, first timers, do they pay their credit cards off every month? What would your percentage be?
I'd say 2 to 3 out of 10 maybe clear them every month.
Guys, that could be you. It could be your coworker. It could be your daughter. It could be your cousin. We've got to start attacking the credit card debt, just because you can't go anywhere in a hurry.
Well, that and some of the folks that we work with will carry that credit card debt, but they'll have enough money in the bank to pay it off. So they're making, they're making 0.5% if they're lucky, but they're paying 15. And for some reason, it just feels different to them of the money in the bank versus the debt on the credit card. Well, I can make the payment. So yes, again, awareness is everything.
So folks out there, what I would do is store electronically your credit card statements or hop online. I want you to go back through and look to see what the interest rate is today, what it was the previous 12 months. I want you to start tracking this stuff to have some awareness, because you might have a credit card at 26.5% and you might have one at 17%.
I'm looking right now.
So we just got to pay attention to this stuff, trying to heighten the awareness to help you grow your net worth, get out of debt, and start to get into some home ownership opportunities, which those folks have the greatest chance of massing, growing their net worth. in a positive
Yeah,
function.
I'm just looking at my Capital One statement from April. The interest rate on that on purchases is
Okay.
15.65%. Let's see if we got the June one yet. That was 15.65, right? And now it's 16.15. So a 0.5% increase in 2 months.
There you go.
Summed up your whole story right there.
It-
Thanks for
it's
letting
a-
me state the obvious.
No, it's affecting everybody.
Uh-huh.
So to think that every time you hear the Fed is hiking and it's not affecting you, that's not the case. It is. Everybody has credit cards. We're going to wrap up there, but if you guys have, if you need to work through these numbers, we have all kinds of tools, visual aids. Ken will plug all that stuff in and make sense of it for you. These are all math equations. There isn't anything difficult here. We just have to get it in the right spot so you can actually see it.
Yeah, keep it simple, right? It's just
Yep.
just anything that will help avoid paying interest or increasing your net worth is super important. And we love sharing that information. So any questions about that, don't be shy.
All right. Thank you.
Till
Bye.
later.